father. The poisoning. Is it the fate of sons to become their father, and in that fate unavoidable recover, in moments lit by the senses, a memory of grief and loss? When now I look and gaze at black and brown and great white chest, at amber dotted eyes and head of my... I'm sorry, I should have explained. This is last explanation. I love dogs myself, and I bred Bernese Mountain Dogs. They live only between 10 and 12. They're the ones in the front of the brandy tin for those of you who have commercial orientation. They've great white fronts, large white paws, 3 colours, amber, black, and orange dots over each eye. The intimacy one develops with a dog. There's no, it's my first time in my life with no dog. But of course I'm on the road, and when I move to my new place, But I wrote this shortly after the death of my last dog. Now I'm ready. And that gives us a chance as well when everyone is okay. The poisoning. Is it the fate of sons to become their father, and in that fate unavoidable recover, in moments lit by the senses, a memory of grief and loss? When now I look and gaze at black and brown and great white chested, amber dotted eyes and head of my great friend who placed his total trust in us, who watched his racing quest to catch a scent of stranger or elusive fox, and when time has robbed us of our time together, I recall an older story that will not, should not die. And it is no melancholy now in memory I impose my father on your response. I respect your anger at an act of cruelty born out of a neighbour's spite. Know the abuse of such proximity as authored this act that left 2 dogs sharers of your intimacy, writhing in an agony before a death that spoke to you a great despair at all that you had lost. And now for me at a distance in a strange space, lectures on community ring hollow, invocations to cooperation make a dead echo, insufficient for the erasing from memory of this terrible act. This stuff of rural intimacies should never be forgotten. True grief requires the truth be told, making way in time, who knows, for such an amnesty among neighbours as would make a truce in space and time, where proximity offers no choice, suggests instead a lying amnesia to hide a neighbourly violence. For if the truth be told, I must recall that it was in the autumn of the years of your hopeless life across the fields you did not own, and yet had made familiar. You walked in silence, alone with you they ran past forest bushes, that in another time you sought to clear, and in much later years, past my escape to lecture halls, I saw you in Clymiobride bent to the side of a hill, tearing roots to make a clearance that would not last. And for a moment now in memory, I must become my father, recall that on the day he returned there was no sign of tears, but anger on his face. His dogs had died, and why should the writhing and the turning, the moaning and a slow death from a neighbour's poison be hidden? Such is the stuff too of rural intimacies, never to be forgotten. Now sinks the sun in burning red, and comes the night with shadows dark. The night is long, and I afraid remember, and put a question now in fear. Is it the fate of sons to become their father? And do old wounds reopen when space and time make even the crippling ends of life, as memory tears the cover of those wounds that will not heal? Thank you.